there, and people come up and shake our hands and say hi and tell us what you think of the show. And you can, if you have any complaints, you can see Reed. And
Reed, who will not be there.
I will write him down, though. Anyways, come on over and say hi to everybody. We will enjoy talking with folks, but we'll be covering the parade. Reed, yesterday I had a kind of a strange experience. You know, we always talk about what's going on here in Chautauqua County and the crops and so forth. Well, I was walking the dog, and I had some blueberry bushes, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to show you right now, just got this ready for us.
Raccoon? There was a raccoon in your blueberries.
Well, not only one, but show them the next one. There was 3 of them.
No kidding.
There were 3 little baby raccoons. Isn't that amazing? They're in the and I'm talking little guys. These guys probably could hold them in your hand, each one of them. They were really little. And you know, when you first see them, oh, how cute they are. These are the guys that get into your garbage and knock out my screens and my windows.
And sneak into your house
Sneak in my house and steal bananas or whatever. So anyway.
Well, you know, they're very clever because they do have a thumb that is...
Right, opposable type thing.
That can wiggle around so they can open things. And, you know, they're smart.
Yeah, well, they were quite entertaining yesterday. So anyways, I thought I'd point that out.
Where do you take the parade from the stage now?
We're going to be at the library. We're thinking about being up there. We're trying to get to a point that's a little bit higher, but I'm leaving that to the tech crew. They're going to let us know for sure. But that's the game plan right now. So anyways, are you going to be the parade?
Yeah.
All right. You're going to be on a horse, aren't you?
Yes.
I see you every year going by. I've been, you know, in the parades over the years with the Hospital Foundation out of Westfield, and so it should be a lot of fun, everybody. Hopefully the weather be nice. Okay, 4th of July. You ready, Reed?
Yeah.
Ready, Fred?
Yep.
Okay. As you know, a lot of times I like to bring in trivial things, so here we go. Okay, Reed, do you realize that it almost wasn't the 4th of July? What was it?
5th of July.
No, it was the 2nd.
Oh, yeah?
It almost was the 2nd of July. That doesn't sound quite as good. Let's have a 2nd of July party. Doesn't sound so good. It was actually the first day that they wrote it, but then they had to do some revisions, and they finalized it on the 4th of July.
That's when the first one came through.
Right, the first draft. So they actually...
First draft of what?
The Congress adopted the
Declaration of
Independence on the 2nd of July.
And anybody who signed it would be instantly hung if they could catch them.
Quartered, and all that good stuff.
Right.
Okay, as you know, the Declaration of Independence was just that. It was a declaration of our independence from Britain. But what else did it prove to do? What was the other purpose of it? Do you know?
Must have something to do with money.
A little bit. It was a list of charges against the king.
Oh.
So, you know, you're doing all this terrible stuff, and by the way, we're leaving. What was happening at the very moment that Thomas Jefferson was penning the Declaration of Independence?
They did a nuclear test.
Pretty close. Britain's army was on its way to the New York harbor. I mean, the enemy was like right down the road, so that was pretty interesting.
They must have had some inside dope, huh? They knew that this was going to happen.
The FBI or somebody.
Yeah.
This is the first actual paragraph that he wrote. It's not what ended up in the Declaration, but I just thought I might read it real quick. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. So you wonder why we have issues now. Okay, how many guys signed the Declaration of Independence?
A whole bunch, I know that.
Fred,
21.
No, more.
40.
Keep going. 56.
Wow.
Representing all 13 colonies. And believe it or not, the Declaration wasn't signed until 2 years after the Boston officials refused to allow those shipments of tea to do their thing to the colonies. So after 2 years after the Boston Tea Party. All right, real quick. Yankee Doodle. It's a song. What's the background of that? Any idea?
Macaroni.
No. Cheese and macaroni. No, it's actually a song that the British sung about the unorganized buckskin-wearing Yankees during the French and Indian War. It was a British tune.
It was derisive, I know that.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, when was the Declaration, when was the Star-Spangled Banner decreed the official anthem of the United States?
Probably sometime in the 1800s.
Right? Any idea?
No, I don't.
1931.
Wow.
How many people lived in the new colonies at the time of independence being declared?
400,000.
little more, 2.5 million.
I didn't know
We're
that.
up to 311 million now. Okay, and last question. I did not know this. I had looked this one up. What do you call someone who is an expert on the background and knowledge of flags?
Flagologist.
Close. I never heard of this before. I got to even separate the paper so I can pronounce it correctly. I looked it up and it's true. It's called a vexiologist.
Vexiologist.
Vexillo logist.
Must be
Vexillologist.
some Latin.
I have no idea, but if you ever needed to know anything about a flag, you call one of them. Reed, back to you. Happy
Thank
4th
you.
of July, everybody. See you
Yeah.
at the parade.
Thank you. John Hamill's talking about the 4th of July, which is a great national celebration. And I will be quite involved with family on that day, as many people are. You have your family picnics, and you can, all the VFWs and patriotic organizations throw a picnic, and it just sounds like a terrific day, and that parade is awesome. That parade is awesome. And my guest today will be right in the front there on a horse. What kind of horse do you have?
Well, I have a Palomino horse now.
Oh,
And so hopefully the horse will be ready to go and get down the street and we'll have no problems.
Yeah.
But it is the biggest parade that we attend all summer long. And obviously the registration's at 9 o'clock on the courthouse.
I think we need a, there we go.
Yep.
We need
And,
Fred in this.
parade starts at 10 with a shooting of the cannon. And I know County Executive Edwards and Mrs. Cornell and Vince Horrigan are urging veterans to sign up and march in a parade with them as a group.
That sounds great.
That's
well,
nice.
all the fire departments certainly
yeah.
turn out. It's just a great parade. And usually, in the past, the Masons had those little cars that rode around. All
Well,
over
I'm sure they'll be the Shriners.
The Shriners, yeah, which are part of the Mason crowd.
Yep.
Sounds like it should be a lot of fun.
And hopefully there'll be a few bands that play, and it'll be a great parade.
It's always terrific.
Yep.
And we'll be filming it live, but it won't be shown live. It'll be shown on tape a little later, and you can watch it all week, all month. Whenever you call in, and all you got to do is call 753-JACK and say, I'd like to see that parade again, and boom, it's on.
Well, it's nice they're going to do that because a lot of people obviously can't be at the parade, and
Right.
it's just a nice gesture on behalf of this station.
Sure. Well, it takes a whole crew
It certainly does.
all day to go down and do it.
Because that's why they make you look good, because you have crews behind you.
That's it.
Same difference.
And they have to do a lot of editorial work, cutting things in and out, and shaping
Yeah.
it up, and they make the film up. It's just
Yep.
it's a wonderful contribution to our community that is given by those folks who do the job here. And I should mention their names. Here are the people you can thank who give so much of their time. Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Sook, Don Zenz, and John Hamills, who really just turn out for this crowd. Okay, Fred, we're talking about your background, first of all. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in, my mother actually came from Mayville, and I grew up in Sherman.
Okay.
Born in Westfield, lived in Sherman there my entire life. Same spot that I live in today, just a little different location.
Yeah, you just moved over. You sold the farm.
Yeah, I sold the farm. We sold the farm a year ago, and we took and cleared off a spot of land on some land that we owned and put up a house and a little shed. And I keep very busy with the legislature, and I'm also a custom spray operator that I custom do about 4,000 to 5,000 acres of corn and alfalfa, which has kept me very busy.
You have to spray alfalfa?
Well, for leafhopper. And then, of course, we had a little session this year with army worms, and
really?
we had to spray a few of them. And so I've been real busy, and yet I'm going home today and do some more, and I hope by the end of July that we're kind of caught up and I can spend some time, because I want to get out on the lake. I have a boat, and I'm sure there'll be some lake questions this morning on what we did this week in the legislature. But our lake is in dire need of help, and harvesting of weeds is not the only answer. But right now, the harvesting of weeds is the only thing that we can do. I'm a proponent that we need to do some spraying, but we need to do some dredging. All that's very expensive, but until we can complete the aquatic vegetation study, and I know there's listeners out there that are frustrated like I am, how many more studies do we need? We have to remember New York State owns a lake. They have the power to demand these studies, and this next study, and hopefully the last, will be done by April of 2013.
Next April. Nothing's going to happen until next year, then.
All we can do is we put some money behind it last week to put on another fleet. That's money with the CLA, another fleet, complete harvester, barge, trucks, people. And it's not just the weeds either. It's the algae growth, the bloom. I have not been on the lake, but one of the things that made it change last Wednesday night, and we voted for the money, was the fact that at the recess, Keith Alstrom came to me, and we discussed what we might be able to do in addition to what we proposed. And he had been out on the lake the last 2 weekends, and he said the perspective from on a pontoon boat looking out towards shore is really devastating, because you could really see the weed growth and the algae bloom. And so we went and talked to Mr. Yates, Chris Yates, and told him that we were going to try to get him $50,000 out of fund balance, $30,000 out of bed tax. They had to put up at least 20 grand. And Doug Conroe sat there with Chris Yates and basically said, we'll go along with that if you can get it through the legislature. And I'm happy to say a lot of my colleagues supported that, particularly the ones from Jamestown, and we were able to get the money appropriated. So hopefully this next week you will see another full crew on the lake harvesting weeds. But I repeat, that is the only thing that we can do with that lake right now.
As you've sort of indicated, it's basically a failure. It doesn't work.
Well, but that's the only option, and we just cannot let that lake. Tourism is so important to this county, just like agriculture. We don't want to see for sale signs up along the lake. We want to do what we can do.
Well, God bless her. A few years, many years ago, Pat McGee, our state senator, didn't donate, but got a grant for 2 weed cutters, which are the only thing we have.
Right.
Still, I mean, these are antiques now.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, they cut the weeds, and half of it goes floating all over, and that's what ends up on the beach.
Yep.
You grab what you can and toss it into a barge, right?
Yep.
And the rest of it just starts to stink up the beaches. And then the worst thing of all is, it's like mowing your lawn. As soon as you cut it, it grows right back up. So it's meaningless.
Yeah. Well, and I met with Mr. Emhart, the supervisor, and as some of the people in this viewing area know, we have to get the sewer completed around the lake.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear that, but folks, it's out there. It's got to be done. The town of Chautauqua needs to continue to spend somehow $16 million at minimal, hopefully with some aid from somewhere, to connect the sewer to Midway Park.
The sewage actually is what is causing part of it, right?
Well, there's certainly a certain amount of those septic systems that do end up in the lake, and it doesn't matter if it's high water or low water. And I really think that's more important. They want us to update our sewer plants. Well, to me, in talking to Don, and he'll be on this program sometime too, I suppose, or has been, it's not just the sewer plants. That to us is money that may be well spent, but it's money better spent to hook up the sewer and eliminate the septic systems that still continue to be around Chautauqua
Right, and
Lake.
one of the naughty buggers is the lawns. The fertilizer that goes on the lawns all around the lake eventually winds up down there, and it feeds the weeds.
And that's one thing that Don Emhart is doing too. He's head of the organization that represents the town and village mayors. They are working with their code enforcement people, and this is something we can't force, but we've got to do a better job of enforcing filter strips, encouraging people to put up filter barriers so that the fertilizer and whatnot do not run into the lake.
And just fertilize less, and use some specific fertilizers that are fairly harmless that you can use, but they're very expensive.
Right. But the whole community needs to buy into this. We've set up the commission. We've, I think, made great strides with people working together. They can't be forced, but they can certainly see what should be done. We can help educate people through the Chautauqua Watershed and Extension. And Chautauqua Institution does a great job with their storm water sewer management. They're an example for other communities to follow. And so those kind of things help.
And every once in a while somebody pops up with the possibility of using chemicals to kill the weeds, and that is something that will never, never, never happen. Well, I can predict that. Senior Report will repeat that over and over.
I think that you'll find that you will see spraying in the next couple of years in certain areas of the lake. I won't say it'll never happen. I think we need to spray certain areas of the lake.
It would be a nice answer, but with the environmental attitude we have in this country right now, and New York State's environmentalists, and the environmentalists are highly active, they're not going to allow you to put chemicals into that lake, Fred.
But the people in Burtis Bay do know when we sprayed a few years ago, that did relieve some stress on the weeds.
Okay, we got a call. Let's go.
Go ahead.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.